Welcome back to Q-Dads, it's me Steve, and yes, Squid Game Season 3 has just dropped a trailer, and of course, we here at Q-Dads are going to be covering it for you. And you know what? What a trailer this was. We got a few more clues on some of the potential games that are coming up, and even the fates of some of the characters. So let's waste no time and dive straight in. And yes, we will be bringing you a Season 3 top 10 deaths when it comes out. Now, we haven't posted in a while as well, and that's just because we are working on something behind the scenes that will be coming out very shortly that stems around an upcoming series which me and Ben absolutely love. So, this Squid Game Season 3 trailer opens up with player 456 being carried out in a box by the guards, ushering everyone back into the sleeping quarters, and of course, he isn't dead in this box because, well, there's too many people still alive at this point, so we know it's not the end of the game. And we know the number one is going to keep him alive all the way until the very final moments. That's our prediction anyway. Yes, in here we do get to see some familiar faces. Player 120, 333, 388, 007, 149 and 222. But more importantly, we get to see the potential new game, which to me seems like a version of Cops and Robbers. Players are tasked with choosing a red or blue ball at random, which for me is a bit of a power move by the frontman because they're taking away that choice of free will about choosing your own teams or choosing a path that you will take, i.e. who to team up with, etc. They are now forcing your hand and making you have a random choice and no control whatsoever. Now, the reason why I thought this game is something like Cops and Robbers is due to that some of the symbolism within the background. First, we see a symbol of what seems to be a knife, coinciding with player 456 ball, which is red. And of course, we see a keyhole, which seems to represent the colour blue, meaning the police, so Cops and Robbers. And in this game, I think they're going to pit it against each other, as the cops have to hunt down the robbers, or vice versa, in order to survive. Maybe we're looking at this too simple and actually it's a kill or be killed kind of game where those with the knives are after the people with the key in order to get out. But this ultimately does mean we're probably going to see more than half of the group die in this particular game. And that is, of course, if they survive the Jack and Jill style red-green light game, which was showcased at the end of Season 2. But does this mean we are going to lose our mother and son, or at least one of them, as they both have an opposite coloured ball? Or will they twist this round and somehow manage to change what they have? We then also see a clip of them having a meal, which kind of mirrors that of Season 1, where our final 3 contestants shared one last meal. So is this meal about to be the final part before we complete the last ever Squid Game? Presumably this is made up of some of the players we mentioned at the start. We also get to see some other movement from the guards, which again continues that infiltration that we saw in Season 2 and giving us more of a backstory and life into some of these guards. And actually, will it somehow end up helping player 456? And then the best part of the trailer for me is the return of the VIPs. Yes, they are all in their masks, presumably for the final game. I mean, we do question actually throughout Season 2 whether they are watching all along, because you do tend to see some of the players looking up. But obviously, Season 2 focused heavily on the players' journey and the guards' journey, rather than those who are watching. So, is Season 3 going to bring us back to those VIP characters? And of course, will we get to see if player 125 was actually a VIP or not, as listed in the credits? I reckon he'll be taken out at the start of the season, now things have turned south. And then, just as we think it's all over, we get to hear a baby cry. Do I think that this is player 222's baby? I'm not 100% sure because again, I don't think she was quite that heavily pregnant. So unless they've done some kind of time lapse on this, I think that the baby crying is actually the fact that she wins the Squid Games and leaves and has the baby. So not actually within the games. So yes, I guess I do think it's her baby. But if they're trying to insinuate the baby's born in the Squid Games, I don't think there's a chance it's going to happen, but I do think she's not going to die. So I do think there's going to be 2 winners overall because we get a lot of hints. Lots of red balls and blue balls, and even the whole Jack and Jill game for green light, red light that we saw at the end of season 2. It's always insinuating a male winner and a female winner. And I think the number 1 is going to let player 222 win purely because she is pregnant. And I also think he's going to let player 456 win. As a final thing to say, it doesn't matter what you do, you can't beat the games, we control you. I think it'd be too obvious to kill him off. I think they're going to let him win, but this time we're going to see him at the end get on the plane and leave and never come back, opening up the Squid Game universe even more. Or as a wild stretch, he starts to help the games and becomes an ongoing insider, a bit like player 1. So overall, those are my thoughts on how the series will go, what we can expect to see. Obviously, we're going to see a few deaths, with a lot of players, because there's only really one winner. But I do wonder how it's all going to play out. Are we going to see more of the mystery around where these bodies are going from the island and who they're going to? And of course, will we actually ever find the island itself? And will we get more of a backstory to some of these guards? It's very interesting how they end up being a guard in the first place. Will we ever find out how they are chosen? Because there is speculation that if you pick the blue card or the red card, that is how you determine to be a player or a guard. Anyway, of course, it's not all about us here. It's about you guys at home. So let us know in the comments your thoughts. Are you going to be watching season 3 of Squid Game? And if so, what are you most looking forward to? Which player are you rooting for? And who do you think is going to survive and win the whole game? Are you leaning in on our theory that player 222 and 456 are somehow both going to be winners? And of course, that massive bit at the end, do you think player 222 will actually give birth within the Squid Games? And if you do, what would even happen to that baby? As always, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as we're keeping you up to date with this show and something else that's coming your way very, very, very soon. So you don't want to miss that. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll catch you next time with something new.